The 2017 Ironman 70.3 Miami was my first triathlon of that length in over 2 years and my first Ironman branded event. As you might imagine, I was pretty nervous going to the expo, but fortunately Ironman and Miami have done this race before, so getting in and out of the registration tent took less than 10 minutes, and I didn't even speak Spanish. That night I didn't sleep very well and was at transition before the sun had even begun to rise. After spending as much time as I could placing my transition gear around my bicycle, I still had plenty of time to stare out at the frothy water. The winds that morning were between 15 to 20 miles per hour, and I got a little worried about being able to complete the swim. In fact, it took me 1 hour and 7 minutes from the start until I managed to haul myself out of the water. Spoiler alert, I didn't die and I didn't drown. But considering the very difficult swimming conditions, and I'm sure there was a few DNSs and a few DNFs because of it, I'm going to consider it a win. I managed to make the cutoff with just 2.5 minutes to spare, but I was alive. I then headed out on the bicycle course where the winds were around 20 miles per hour, or at least felt that way, and were great on the way out. They pushed me along at 23 miles per hour. But when I had to turn around and go back into the wind, I was only able to manage 13 miles per hour in the aero position. Many of my fellow competitors blatantly broke the rules and began drafting other bicyclists, keeping their tires just inches from the tire in front of them, just to try and get out of the wind. Almost 3.5 hours after the start of the bike, I was glad to get on the run, and then I encountered something I'd never seen before. The run course goes across some tracks that are rarely used, but on this day during the race, the military sent a train right into the middle of it. Fortunately, nobody got ran over by the train, but we all got an extra 10-minute break to relax and enjoy the scenery as the train went by. For those of you that might be considering coming to Miami for the easy race, there are a few challenges you need to be aware of. First of all, it can be very hot and humid. And second, if the wind gets going, it can prove to be quite the challenge, particularly during the swim. And also, keep in mind you have to deal with Miami culture. Even so, I was able to finish in just under 7.5 hours, and I'm pretty happy with that. That put me in my age group at about 60%, almost halfway, and overall about halfway up the list. Considering my poor training, my poor swim technique, I'm definitely going to consider this one a win. I'll be back next year, and if you're considering it, hopefully I'll see you there.